Guys, good morning. I am popping on this morning. I mentioned in my last video that I was thinking about getting on here and talking a little bit about credit cards. And with where people are at right now, I'm sure some people are probably shopping around for a credit card and it can be kind of overwhelming. So I thought I would pop on and talk about some of the main things to consider when you're looking at applying for a card. One of the things I will say, I'll talk about this more when I get into talking about credit scores. That is something that I definitely plan on getting in here and diving into. But when it comes to shopping around for a credit card and applying for a credit card, I would caution you to not apply for many at once. That will result in multiple hits on your credit, which can actually be a big hit to your score. And especially if that credit card is really needed right now to help you kind of get through and fill the gap a little bit. You don't want to, apply for 3 or 4 different cards, get denied by 3 or 4 different cards and have it really, tank your credit. So you want to be a little bit strategic about choosing which credit card you're going to go for and just start with applying for one and seeing what the result is on that. So that way you can preserve your credit while also getting some help if you need it to be able to use a card. So I'm just peeking at my notes here so I don't miss anything. So one of the big things that most people look at, if they don't look at anything else, a lot of times you'll look at the interest rate, right? So there's a lot of different rates that you'll see out there, but credit cards can range anywhere from under 10% to 25 to 35% interest, which is really, really nuts. I want to say that the standard that I generally see is 15 to 25 on if you get like a store card, like you're getting a Kohl's charge card or JCPenney or whatever, those I usually see maybe around like 24-25% interest on those cards. Whereas if you go with more of like a general card, like a Visa, you may see some lower rates, closer to 15, something like that. There's also 0% introductory rates that you can get on cards. So they generally, it can be anywhere from like 12 to 24 months that you'll get with 0 interest. So that's something to consider if you are transferring a balance maybe from a high card that you already have, or you have a big purchase that you're needing to make that you need more than a month to pay off. It can give you some time to do that with no interest. I will say that the interest rate that I was able to get on our credit card was actually it's like 9.5 or something like that. It's under 10%. I know that for a fact, the Visa that we got. And we got that rate by actually going directly to our credit union and applying for the Visa through them. So instead of going to Visa or going to, like Capital One, like to their site and applying directly, if you go to your bank or your credit union and you apply directly through those departments, you may be able to get an even lower rate. And I will mention with that as well that we got that rate based on our credit score. So that's something to consider as well, is you may actually qualify for a lower rate if you have a higher credit score. So interest rate is a huge one. And I will say that, with my clients, I, help teach you how to manage a credit card so that you don't carry a balance month to month, because that is the most ideal way of managing your credit card spending. You really don't want to be charging on it and letting a balance carry. But that being said, even if you have every intention of never carrying a balance, sometimes it happens, like stuff is happening right now, and I'm sure people are starting to carry balances where they probably wouldn't before. So even if you are like 100% sure that you're not going to carry a balance on your credit card, pay attention to the interest rate. You don't want to get one with a crazy high interest rate in case something happens and you do need to leave a balance on there from month to month. So another thing when you're signing up for a new card, you may actually get a signing bonus. So some cards will say if you spend $1,000 within the first 60 days, you'll get a $100 cashback bonus or something like that. So those can be nice perks. I don't know that I would let that influence too much which card that you get. There are other factors that are a bit more important than that, but that is a good one to consider. And maybe pay attention to that, because if you're spending regularly and you're kind of using it for your everyday purchases and you know how much those are month to month, you'll know whether or not you can qualify for that bonus, which is a nice little saving. The next thing that a lot of cards might have is an annual fee. Now, personally, I don't think any credit card is worth an annual fee, but that's just my personal opinion, because even if you pay off your card every single month and you're not paying any interest, you're still going to have to pay that annual fee, right? And that can really easily cancel out any of the benefits that you get from the card unless you are very diligent in tracking on what you're getting back. And I don't see the point in, getting benefits on your card and then having to make sure that it balances out the annual fee, right? So I would generally try to avoid those. Although for some people it may seem worth it. So then that leads into rewards. So that is a huge, huge factor when you're deciding what credit card you're going to go with. That was something that honestly, the Visa we got through our credit union, I didn't really think too much about with the rewards. And they just kind of have a general rewards package where you earn points as you spend on your card. And then you can use those points for a lot of things. Like they have a rewards shopping site, so you can use it to buy items. You can use it to buy hotel rooms, buy flights, that type of thing. Although with ours, because it is so general, it takes a lot of points to buy pretty much anything unless you're getting kind of the chintzy things in store. The one thing that I really like with ours that's an option in there is they have like it's like an eraser, or I can't remember exactly what they call it, where as you accumulate points, you can actually use those points to pay off part of your balance on your card, which is very similar to like a cash back reward. That's not exactly what it is. I'm actually, like using the points to then pay off, a bit on my card. So that's a nice feature that we have on ours. Other things that people really consider, and this is very personalized, right? So for some people, they're very all about their travel rewards credit cards. So if you are doing a lot of traveling, a lot of flying, a lot of hotel stays, one of those cards can be great where you are getting miles or something like that. So you'll want to look kind of at your own lifestyle and see if, one of those is what you want to go for. If you do like a store card, so many places, many of these stores that offer just a charge card that was only usable in their store, like Kohl's or even Meijer or Walmart, some of those places where you could just charge in their store, get rewards in their store. Many of them now have an offering where you can get generally like a MasterCard or a Visa card that is a rewards card for their store, but you can use it anywhere. So if you have a place that you always shop, like maybe it's Walmart and that's where you always go for your groceries, where you always go, for like your basic clothing and that type of stuff, you might be able to use a credit card that's a Walmart credit card that you can use to buy gas, that you can use, when you're traveling, that you can use, maybe to pay for your Netflix subscription, but then you're gaining rewards for Walmart that you can spend there. So that's something where if you have like one dedicated place that you're shopping a lot, maybe you want to get a card there and one that you're able to use everywhere else so that those rewards are getting you things that you're buying on a regular basis. So that's a great thing to consider. And many, many stores have that now where you can get a card, but it's not limited to only being used in their store. And then another big reward that gets put out there a lot is a cashback reward. Often this will be anywhere from like 1 to 5% cash back on your card. The ones where it's like 5%, those higher percentage cashbacks, those ones are a little trickier because they generally will have like a revolving reward. So it'll be like, for 3 months, you get 5% on restaurants. For the next 3 months, you get 5% on gas stations, and like they kind of do revolving categories like that, so you kind of have to pay attention to get full benefit of it. If you want just a flat cash back on everything, you're looking at more like maybe 1 to 2% max that you would be getting back on it. But then you're essentially, you're getting a discount on everything, right? Especially, you have to consider though, if you're paying your card off every month. So if you're getting 2% cash back, but you're carrying a balance and paying interest, you're wiping out that reward. You're wiping out that benefit by having to pay the interest on it. So we really want to avoid that for sure. So rewards are a huge thing, and that's one thing that will probably drive your decision the most because it's so unique. Like all the other features, you can probably find a card that has them, but finding one that has rewards that work well for you can be kind of the trickiest part. So that's a really good thing to look into and do your research on. The other thing you want to look at is what the limit will be on the card. Some places will tell you, you can get up to, whatever limit. And this can also be very dependent on what your credit score is as well. So I generally would say don't have a lot of expectations on how much your credit limit's going to be. Once you get your card and it's approved, just work with your limit. Because if you are responsible with that card and you pay it off regularly and you're being a good customer with it, you're probably going to automatically get limit increases. Or after you've had the card for a short amount for a few months and have shown that you're, responsibly paying it and everything, you can request a credit limit increase. So don't let that initial limit deter you. You may just have to, only put small amounts on the card to start with until you're able to increase that limit later on. I know in our case that we get limit increases, I'll look at it and be like, oh, we just got like another $2,000 added to our limit. So, as long as we're being responsible, that's something that will come easily for you. And then the last thing, and this one is a hard one to, I think most people don't consider, is when you're looking at, applying for a credit card, what kind of credit do they require for you to get that card? And that's not something that a credit card company is just going to outright tell you. They're not going to say, oh, you have to have, a credit score of 700 plus to get this card or that card. But they do kind of give you an idea of if a card is for somebody with really, really great credit, or, maybe somebody who's trying to build their credit and improve it. One of the tools that I have used that I thought was really great is Credit Karma. So if you haven't checked it out, Credit Karma is a free website. It's a place where you can check your score. The score is not 100% accurate. Anytime I've had my credit pulled, it has varied from what Credit Karma does, but it gives you a nice ballpark range. It gives you a nice idea of, what areas you're maybe hurting in and what areas you can improve with your credit score. But one of the features they have, and I think the way that they are free, is that they will pitch you credit card offers. That, when you log in and you link up and they look at your credit report, they're going to tell you, oh, we recommend this credit card, we recommend that credit card. And they actually have this feature where it will tell you your approval odds on the credit cards that you're looking at. So it'll tell you if you have really low approval odds where they think, no, you're probably not going to qualify for this card, we know about credit, or where, a card where they're like, oh yeah, you definitely will probably get approved for this, you have excellent approval odds. So if you haven't checked that out and you're looking for a card, that can be a really great way to look at it. Avoid those hits on your credit that I mentioned earlier, that, we really don't want to have a bunch of hits all in a row. So if you have credit where you're like, I don't know if I'm actually going to qualify, check out Credit Karma, take a look and see what they say your approval odds are for the card that you're looking at. And it'll give you a better idea of whether you actually want to put that application out there or not. So that is what I have as far as searching for credit cards, things that you should consider. So let me know if that was informative. Did you guys know all of those things? Did you not? Are you currently shopping for a credit card? Maybe, as I was going through and talking about one of those factors, you went, man, the credit card I have just doesn't have, the interest rate I want, or it doesn't have the rewards that I really want, or it's just not working for me. Maybe this is a chance to go back and look at these different aspects and try and find something that works a little bit better for you. So today I just talked about finding a credit card, things to consider when you're getting a credit card. I definitely will be back this week to get on and tell you guys then how to use your credit card in a way that is going to benefit you the most when it comes to your credit scores and interest and all of those things. So keep your eyes peeled. I will be back. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.